Okay team, hope you're all well. So we've got the market just about to open. I'm currently in a short position at the moment. Let me just see what my current short was. Let me just lower that down a touch. If you guys are available, can you just let me know that the sound isn't too loud and everything's hunky-dory, please. So my current entry is 22.24. Where's that? Just marked on the chart. $22.24. Somewhere around there. Let me take that the tool off. 22.024. Now, I just caught it before the drop, and right now we are obviously in a really sticky position in the sense of this whole area here is, you know, been a massive fight between the bulls and the bears in the past. It was obviously here. It was acting as, you know, a nice kind of resistance. Then it acted as support. And I think it's going to start acting as a bit of a resistance. So the case is, are we going to break below this? And if so, how does it react? And so, you know, what you want to do is just mark out your liquidity. I'm just going to delete that for now. I don't think we need that. So I've already took the liberty of just putting my liquidity areas on the line. I'm on the 4 hour at the moment, so I want to try to reduce some of the noise, because it's easy to, you know, if you're going down to like 15 minutes or 1 hour or even lower or whatever, you're going to have lots of these areas of liquidity. And so I guess you don't want to put a liquidity line on every single point. However, it's still choppy. Let me just, I'll tell you what, let me just end the, I don't want to end the broadcast. Let me just check my settings. Sorry, guys. Why the hell is that happening? Still choppy, eh? Let's just see how it goes. If it keeps getting worse, I'll stop it. But anyway, right now, as I say, I've mapped out the liquidity lines. Now, where would I be interested in a potential short or a long? Well, right now, it depends on what type of a trader you are. If you're a scalp trader or you are a trader who likes to, you know, day trade, well, any of these areas are going to be not tested, you know, since we've opened. So we've just opened. This is the first 4 hour candle. We've got another hour and a half, let's just say. But obviously the markets have just opened. So I would always be looking at these areas just above here and below here. Now, the key thing on this line specifically is you've got obviously this liquidity area here, which has not yet been tested, which is pretty much almost an equal low if you're into your ICT and smart money concepts. And so that's going to be an interesting area. We should see some real distance, because I think it's the last line. What is it? 21.325. And so this whole area here would probably put us into a volume zone, because we've had trade the volume here in the past. So I can imagine we could come down and test this whole area. However, I would still look to long. Now, I've heard some rumors around this the seizure that had taken place for Silk Road, which is meant to be, yeah, has been added to the exchange on Coinbase. Friend of mine mentioned it in the Discord server earlier. So we don't know what effect that will have. It's something like 49,000 Bitcoin ready to be traded. I don't know whether that will be the case or not, but I guess we just need to see. But mapping out my next play, I'm riding this down to 21,350 is my take profit, and then I'm going to be scaling an entry as a long underneath. When it comes to liquidity, is understanding what liquidity is, why it's in the chart, why it's not always, you know, about patterns and that kind of stuff, but more about where liquidity is going to lie. And I mentioned this on a few of the lives I've done before, but you have to think of liquidity as where liquidity is high, price gets sticky, and it's, you know, difficult to move the price too much because there's plenty of liquidity, right? So that means bigger players can trade in, bigger players can trade out. If there's liquidity there, it's not going to move the price an awful lot. But when liquidity falls low, well then price can really move fast because the price at which liquidity is resting at is very little. So what you tend to see when you see these kind of moves is that price will come up, will grab liquidity above an area. And specifically, you've got to think, well, why would there be liquidity above here? Well, if the price has been significant enough to reverse price, well then clearly you're going to have a lot of stop losses there. That's number one. Number two, you're going to have momentum of move. So let's say if we break past here, I would probably not actually call this I would probably not class that as liquidity. I'd probably look at this would be the first point I'd probably want to take. When price comes back up here, then that would be, in fact, thinking out loud, I probably wouldn't even have them. This would be the main liquidity area up at that 22,672, but we are operating here where you get a breaker structure. So you would see if we break here, you would then no longer have higher lows and lower lows. You'd actually break it, so you'd have a breaker structure. You wouldn't quite have a change of direction or a change of character, but you would have a breaker structure. And so one of these things you need to look at is where this liquidity would lie, is where you're going to have 132. Well, it would take just over 22,300 to be liquidated. So very, very tight liquidation level. So remember, you want, people like to trade where liquidity is at, specifically bigger players, because of the structure. Well, that normally exacerbates breakout traders, right? So they want to, you know, they see a breaker structure. Okay, well, now I'm going to go long, and then, you know, let's say the volume starts to build. When you start to get commitment of money and high volume past certain areas, that's the perfect foil for bigger players to then come in and reverse that price back down, because once you get the momentum, once liquidity is being exchanged, you have a small amount of liquidity underneath, and then when the price comes in, big amounts of money move, low liquidity, price really starts to shoot down. So just some common kind of things just to understand about liquidity, kind of price action, volume. Are we still choppy? Here we go. I always tend to find when you first see for me, when you see a move one way at the open, it's normally a case to go and grab liquidity before it moves down. So by that virtue, you know, I'm still anticipating a move down, pushes to the upside, gets everyone committed to longs, and then a reversal comes past once we've got that liquidity. I'm out of breath, I've just ran downstairs. What was that move like on? Yeah, let's see. I mean, this was I mean, if anyone caught this move, that was that big move earlier. What was that? That was the 5 minute on the 10th at 10:45 this morning. Let me just check that out. 10:45. This was this here. So that would be, if you think about it, this would have been where the liquidity was resting, yeah. So I just put that on the page. The liquidity would have been here, and this is why I always say, you know, if you're a scalper and you want to get in and out, and it's about trying to make, you know, trades, this is a great place to just put a long just beneath where this liquidity was here. You can see this candle. That was that break of structure, that break of liquidity. You can see all of the trap traders here. So you see the commitments and the demand coming in at the bottom of